Heather, good morning.
Jason, good morning.
So Heather was having a little dance party over there, and because she's just been so moved by the songs of Tom Bombadil.
Oh, dearest Tom Bombadillo.
What would have been really great is if Tom Bombadil was actually an armadillo. Like, because there are talking
Jason?
animals in these books.
Yes.
So if he was a armadillo, Tom Bombadillo, the armadillo,
it would just be a little too on the nose, I think.
Armadillo Dally.
Oh my gosh. We have lots of armadillos here in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And we often see dead armadillos on the side of the road because when they get spooked, they curl themselves up, but they turn into they launch themselves up first to curl themselves up. So they get hit by cars and then,
they become projectiles.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway.
My wife believes we have a lot of armadillos up here as well.
I don't think you do.
We don't. We have possums.
Yeah. They're very different.
They're very different. We had a possum in our side shed. And Maggie was my dog, not another person in my house. My dog, Maggie, was freaking out over there. And so it was dark. And so I got a flashlight and was like, oh, it was a dark time. There were rumors of evil in the east as the shadow was coming.
Perfect.
So I got a flashlight and I saw, there's a possum out there. And so I got my shovel and scooped it up because I wasn't going to touch it. Gross.
No.
Scooped it up and flung it into the high school parking lot. But
it was alive though.
Oh yeah, but it was alive and terrified.
It was playing possum.
No, it was just but it wasn't dead. It was just so scared because Maggie was yelling at it.
Yeah.
And again, Maggie's a dog, not another person in my house. Right. And so I flipped it over into the parking lot and it's never come back. So I don't know if I killed it or what, but it's gone. This was years ago. But ever since then, Kathy will, if Maggie's barking at some mysterious thing, she'll say, do we have a armadillo?
Oh gosh. I mean, possums are really just armadillos that have seen some things. So
yeah, they lost their armor.
Their armor
is in hock at the pawn shop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or they're pacifists. They went through war, the Armadillo Wars, and they've come back and they've thrown their medals at the Washington Monument and we're like, no more. And they're pacifists.
That actually explains it way better.
I have a lot of theories.
Perfect.
Let me tell you about why giraffes have such long necks.
I would love to know. Tell me.
Well, it's because they were looking at all these other horses and they're like, let's just get a little taller.
And so it just kept going like that.
Yeah. A giraffe is like a dinosaur horse.
It's a brontosaur horse.
Yeah. If you look at horses and look at dinosaurs and then you thought, what if I was making a deck of animals and I just shuffled them together and I made a giraffe.
What?
I also don't understand why the giraffe has these little antennae here. Were they at one time ants?
It's so they don't hit their heads.
On what?
On trees.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
Are they that stupid?
Yeah.
They don't see a tree.
They
eat the leaves.
Cats. It's like cats, they have their whiskers on the sides and
they have their whiskers on the top of the head.
Yeah, they do. The eyebrows, like dad. And then if their whiskers fit through whatever, then the rest of their body will fit. And so giraffes, I almost said giraffes, they have those. So they know oh, that tree is tall enough for me to put my neck up there.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, Jason, I don't know. Why don't you just ask God and be like, yo, G-O-D, ¿qué pasó?
¿Qué pasó with giraffes, huh?
What's the deal with giraffes?
¿Qué pasó con jirafes?
Why do giraffes?
You didn't know. You were making all that up.
Have horns? They're ossicones, bony projections of the skull that are covered. They made of cartilage. It doesn't say why. It just says what it is.
I think it's because they were also, the ant was shuffled into that deck.
Oh, one theory is that giraffes' ossicones were originally support structures for their antlers, which,
Could you imagine?
Giraffes may also use their ossicones to spar with other giraffes.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Because they do like the fight with the neck thing.
Yeah.
Which is like the dumbest.
And so maybe
fight.
the like ossicone cut tickles
throat.
The other one.
They had antlers. It was like they cut their head off.
There you go. And now it's just because it's a little tuft of hair. It's like, yeah.
It's just like a big old, it's a tickle monster.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
That's why the Jeffrey is the mascot for Toys R Us.
Yep. Because it's tickle monster.
Because it's playful.
Oh, okay.
Of all the horses, of all the types of horses, giraffes are probably the most playful horse.
I would say zebras are.
No, I think
They're
zebras
just so zany, and they make such fun sounds. They're like, I'm like, have you heard a zebra?
Yeah.
A zebra?
Yeah, I've heard of zebra, but I think giraffes like learned early on as like a outcast in the animal kingdom. Like,
good night.
Look at that long head, long necked loser, and they're like, I got to own it. I could have them bullying me on the savannah, or I can just own it and just make fun of myself and have fun. And they're the stand-up comedians of the animal.
Maybe that's it.
I mean, look at Madagascar.
Yes.
Those are great
what about
movies. Because actually, as I was saying that, the giraffe had the most anxiety of all of the animals. Exactly. So kind of falls apart
and
there.
The zebra was
the clown in Madagascar 3. Afro circus. Anyway, we're talking about chapter 7 and 8.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Fellowship of the Ring. Heather,
guys,
how did you feel?
Good to know that Tom Bombadil is over in these books. I had to slog through these, and there were several points in both chapters where I'm like, is this real life? Like, what is happening? Like, it just feels like there's a lot of fever dream going on in both chapters. Is that
the second
right?
Of the two chapters is more fever dreamy?
Okay.
Because in chapter 7, they're in Tom's house.
Right.
Which is just a weird little place to be.
But like they're dreaming at some point in Tom's house too.
Yeah. Yes.
Or nightmaring. But like in chapter 8,
they are on their way out and they get caught by the whites in the Arnon Downs or whatever, the Barrow Downs.
Sure.
And they are almost killed.
Oh man.
And there's some confusion about what's happening there because it's like, and then they're like, where are my clothes?
Right. We're getting ahead of ourselves. But yes, I still don't like Tom Bombadil. I think maybe I can have some appreciation for him, but I still am just like, but I don't need this chapter. I don't need this guy.
Right.
Get out of here.
If you watch the movies.
I did watch the first movie. I haven't watched any of the others yet.
Okay. And Tom Bombadil is not in it.
No. And that was, I've never wanted to hug a stranger more than when I realized Tom Bombadil wouldn't be in this. Peter Jackson is like, well done, sir.
Thank you. Done. I want I want Jack Black to play Peter Jackson in the movie about the making of The Lord of the Rings.
Oh my gosh. What?
That's all I want. That's all I want.
Jack Black just needs to be more prominent in general and everything. I love him.
Black could be Tom Bombadil because he's always singing songs.
Yeah. Yeah. He could.
He would probably save the role.
I think, yes, I think he would, and it would be okay then. But I'd still be like, no, I don't like it. I don't like it.
All right.
So
well,
anyway,
let's talk
about chapters 7 and 8.
Yeah. Why don't you give us a summary of chapter 7, Heather?
Yes, I will. Okay. Chapter 7 is in the house of Tom Bombadil. So they go into Tom's house and they see Goldberry, and Goldberry is the daughter of the river.
Mm-hmm.
But they all felt joy, and Frodo sang a few lines about her, and was just like doo singing. They sat and waited for Tom, who was tending to the ponies and singing about himself outside. So that was neat. And then Frodo asks Goldberry, who is Tom Bombadil? And Goldberry is like, hey, he is master. Not that the land like belongs to him, just that he is the master. He has no fear. Like, this is just who he is. Then the meal was ready and the hobbits were filthy. So they had a mini spa experience, and then they were back at the table. They ate and drank, and they weren't aware that they were singing suddenly. Or no, they were aware that they were suddenly singing because the liquid that was in their drinking bowls was likely not water. And it made them all happy. Eventually they cleared the table, they dimmed the lights, and Goldberry said goodnight. And Frodo asked Tom if he had heard Frodo calling or if it was just by chance that he like stumbled upon them. Tom said that he had an errand there gathering lilies for Goldberry, and he then recounts how he found her there years ago. Just like, he was like, okay, you're mine now?
He is the master.
Okay. Well, so then Frodo wanted to know who the Willow Man was, but everybody else was like, no, go to bed. This is scary talk. We don't need to do this right now. It's time for night. And so Frodo has a bad dream, which I guess like includes Gandalf's rescue from the tower. Is that like, I mean, that's kind of what it looked like in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of sort of.
And Black Riders. So, you know, everything was just whatever. Pippin was dreaming too, and it was fine until he wasn't. And then he had nightmares. And then Mary had a nightmare, but remembered Tom and Goldberry's words about their safety. And Sam slept like a log. So good for him. And they all woke up at the same time and took in the views around them. And Tom, I need to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. And
God bless you.
Thank you.
I was waiting until you were done because I didn't want to waste a blessing.
Well, I get it, because sneezing is like such a cry for attention.
Look at me. My face is trying to get rid of stuff.
Somebody better bless me. Anyway, so they all woke up at the same time, took in the views around them. Tom invites them down to breakfast. It was a drizzly morning, and Goldberry was singing a rain song, and they definitely weren't leaving Tom's today. And Tom explains that this is Goldberry's washing day, her autumn cleaning day. So everything gets cleaned outside by
the
rain.
Yeah.
Yes. So then Tom told stories of the land and old forest, and they learned about the great willow, who was rotten and full of malice. Then he spoke about the downs and the great barrows and barrow wights and barrow downs, and it was terrifying talk, and the hobbits weren't thrilled about it. They couldn't tell how much time had passed, but they were enthralled with Tom's storytelling nonetheless. And then Frodo asked him, yo, who are you, master? And Tom just is like, I was the eldest. He had been there before the rivers and trees, and there's like a whole explanation on my page 148. Hold on. I didn't feel like writing it. Don't you know my name yet? That's the only answer. Tell me, who are you? Alone, yourself, and nameless, but you are young, and I am old. Eldest, that's what I am. Mark my words, my friends. Tom was here before the river and the trees. Tom remembers the first raindrop and the first acorn. He made paths before the big people and saw the little people arriving. He was here before the kings and the graves of the Barrow-wights. And when the elves passed westward, Tom was here already. Before the seas were bent, he knew the dark under the stars. When it was fearless, before the dark lowered, came from outside. So he's basically saying, like, I am.
Yeah.
I was there. Okay. And then Goldberry comes back in. They set the table. They ate a better supper than even before. Goldberry went to bed, but then Tom got talkative and asked the hobbits a bunch of questions. And he seemed to know about all their business, thanks to Farmer Maggot, right? That was the name. Yeah. He did ask Frodo if he could see the ring, and Frodo gave it to him, and Tom kind of like giggled and treated it like, lightly, basically. And he put it on his pinky, but it didn't disappear. He didn't disappear. And they were all like, what? This is crazy. And when he gave it back to Frodo, Frodo was a little peeved and unsure that it was the actual ring. And so to test it, he put it on and he disappeared. And Tom was like, yo, Frodo, well, homie, I see you. Come back. Can't leave yet. And Tom tells them to take off early in the morning, keep to the green grass, past the barrows on the west side, which they won't. And he then also taught them a song to sing should they run into any trouble or difficulty, which they did. And then he went to bed. And that's chapter 7.
That's chapter 7.
There it is.
Tom Bombadil. He's a big weirdo.
He really is. Like, I want so badly to like him. Mm-hmm. But this is now my 3rd time reading through these 2 chapters, and I still I don't.
Yeah. He is a weird insert into this story that there are a couple reasons he's valuable. One, it reminds us that Middle Earth is bigger and older than we think. Okay. So he was here before the elves came.
Yeah.
He was here before the
elves have been there forever.
Well, they weren't there forever. They came in the First Age, but there was a moment when elves were created, and Tom was here before that. And so he is this eternal being that has always been. So he's old. He also the ring has no power over him, which is good to remember as we walk through this, that the ring is evil and dark, but it doesn't affect everyone the same way. And some people it doesn't affect at all, which will be later important.
With Galadriel.
No.
Oh.
No, because Galadriel, because you already watched the movies.
Yeah.
She knows how it would affect her.
Yeah.
So it's...
But she passed. Anyway.
She passed the test, right?
Yeah.
So there is something about the heart of Tom Bombadil that is not affected by the ring. There's another character later that we will see who is not as desires. Excuse me. Look who's getting attention now.
Are you done?
I think so.
Okay, bless you.
Thank you. There is something about the one of these other characters in this book that we'll see is like, oh, maybe the ring has no power over him. So sorry, spoiler alert, it's a him, as is most characters in this book. But why doesn't it have that same effect? What's going on in that person's heart? So little foreshadowing.
Strider?
No. You can try to guess and guess and guess, and I'm not going to tell you. So I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
It's the barman at the Prancing Pony.
I knew it.
No. At the Ugly Duckling or whatever it is. The Snuggly Duckling.
Snuggly Duckling.
The other thing is, and this is something that I don't really have a good theory on, and I just think it's interesting, is that Tolkien, I think maybe Tom Bombadil is a author insert of Tolkien.
Please explain what you mean by that.
And the main thing here that I would say is like, he is like, there's authors who like try to put themselves into their books in different ways. There's directors who put themselves in their movies, like Hitchcock and Shyamalan. They are always in their movies somewhere, somehow. They don't usually have like a big part like this, but like in The Sixth Sense, the doctor that examines, no, not Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, the doctor that examines Bruce Willis's character, that's M. Night Shyamalan.
Wait, Unbreakable, he's in both M. Night Shyamalan movies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, cool. So like those kinds of things happen.
So it's also kind of like in Twilight, where Stephenie Meyer made herself a character in like the diner. Yeah. One of the diner scenes.
Sure. I've never seen Twilight, so
it's okay. You don't need to.
I won't.
Actually, you really should, because it's cinema masterpiece.
Okay.
No.
I'll just leave it out there as one of those things, as like someday when I'm done with movies, I'll watch the greatest movie ever, so that nothing else can compare to it. And I won't be disappointed by anything that follows. So
smart. Smart.
That's what I do with a lot of movies. I tell people, oh, this is my favorite movie. It's like, well, I know it's not going to be my favorite, so I'll save it till I'm done with all my favorites.
Yeah.
But I think Tolkien, like the way he talks about being there before the elves as the author, like he was there. He existed before Middle Earth existed, because it all came from his brain. So,
okay.
And so I think that may be a fun little like wink that Tolkien is doing.
How many message boards have you found yourself on, or Reddit threads have you found yourself on that say this and you're like, nope, that's right? Or did this come from your brain?
I don't think it came from my brain, but I don't go to message boards or Reddit subs. I don't look for that kind of stuff. I mainly it's YouTube as my.
I'm more sophisticated, guys.
I'm not gonna read it.
Yeah,
come on.
Please
I read
tell it to me.
Drizzle it on for me. I'm not your maid.
I'm not your maid. Anyway,
yeah. So I think that's part of why, like, because he's not affected by the ring, and he's been here forever. I think that's one of the things that, like, maybe is a little wink for Tolkien to say, like, hi, everybody, I'm the writer of this story. So I don't know, but just for fun. For fun. So yeah, I do think as well, where am I? There's something else that he said as I was going through. I'm looking at my highlights. When he's talking about himself as the master, I think that's also like, who is the master of this story?
Like the puppet master.
Yeah.
Pulls the strings.
And then Goldberry.
Great Metallica song.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Goldberry, when she says, I see you are an elf friend. The light in your eyes and the ring in your voice tells it. So this encounter with the elves that they had a few chapters ago, like, left a mark on Frodo when they call you our elf friend.
Right.
And that's pretty cool. So the elves are very important in the world of Middle Earth. And in this story, in the Lord of the Rings, they're very important, but they as a population don't play that big a role.
Really?
Yeah. Like the only elf that we see like going for a long time throughout that we get to know really is Legolas. One elf as a representative of a whole people, and one dwarf as a representative of a whole people. And like that's one of the just weird things about this world is like there's so much more that Tolkien could have said, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So anyway,
because he was like, oh, nobody's going to like this Tom Bombadil character. So
let me just get this Tom Bombadil out of the way. The Tom Bombadil of it all. Anyway, I think that when you read the Silmarillion, that's where you actually get to know the elves.
Okay.
Because there's so much elf stuff in there.
I did see, it was suggested to me on my Audible to buy the Silmarillion, and I'm like, I can't do that. Like, Because it's not like a story, right? It's like an encyclopedia or
it's
like
all the stories.
No, what?
It is not like a novel. It's like it's a history. And it's presented to us in story form as a history. So like reading a history book.
Oh.
Which I love.
Right. Is it like reading like a biography of Alexander Hamilton, or is it like reading US 20th century history textbook? Like,
it's more like a world history.
Well,
so
but
not even US history, which you might have some relationships to, like where you might be like, oh yeah, I know about this. It's more like a world history where it's like, I have no idea where any of these places are.
So, oh my gosh. Okay.
It's so good.
We will, great. We will definitely not be getting that on Audible though, because I'll just be like, I need to rewind this. I don't get it. What?
I think it's, okay. Don't get it.
How many copies of it do you have?
Currently,
I know you have like 3 like hard copies. 4? How many, Jason? Are you up to 6?
I think I have 4 print copies. And then 1 Audible.
Is it Andy Serkis?
I think I have 6, and then I think I have the Kindle as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, but when you come out here, I can give you a copy when you come out in July.
I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there in July.
So just remind me, because I'm not going to remember things. All right. Are you ready for chapter 8?
I am. Yes. Chapter 8 is Fog on the Barrow Downs.
Which is my metal album.
Fog on the Barrow Downs. Is it like that, or is it more like Fog on? Like, what is your? I
mean,
what's the?
Did you already hear it?
No,
because I was like spot on both of them.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, I have a like a intro to the whole album, and then I have a song, "Fog on the Barrow Downs."
Wow.
And then an outro. So like it's very good.
Oh my gosh, I'm very excited. You'll have to also play that for me when I'm there. I'll read the
metal ukulele.
Ooh, I like that idea.
No, it's not.
Oh, dang it.
I don't have a metal band. I'm not in I don't have, none of that's real. I made all that up.
Jason was in a band in high school / a little bit of college as well.
Yeah, college.
Yeah, so we'll have to talk about that another time. No?
Have to?
Yeah. I think we should invite some special guests. I think Brian and Darren especially should probably join us one day just to talk about it when we're done with this book, as like a celebration.
I don't think that's going to work out.
Salt the band. I think they would love it. Maybe we get Dustin. Would be great.
I love all those people.
Great.
I love them all.
Right, anyway.
Those people. Tell us about chapter 8, Heather.
Yeah. So they set off the next morning and realized they hadn't said goodbye to Goldberry. And what is his name? The main character? Frodo. That guy. Frodo was like, was about to like turn around and try to go find her. And then they saw her on a hill. And they went up to her and she made them take in the vista, and then bade them on their way. And
can I pause real quick right here?
Yeah.
The way that Frodo wants to say goodbye to Goldberry.
Excuse me.
You're excused. Reminded me of the way Mark Wahlberg talks to Will Ferrell's wife, Eva Mendes, in The Other Guys.
I have never seen that.
Shut up. It's so good. It's so good. It's my favorite buddy cop movie.
Really?
The Rock's in it. Samuel L. Jackson's in it. Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, Michael Keaton.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
Okay.
You need to watch this movie.
Is it on any streaming platforms? Or do I have
I'm sure
to
it's
try
someplace. It might be on Netflix.
I don't have Netflix anymore.
Okay, then go to the public library's website and put it on hold and get the DVD. Do you have a DVD player?
I think so. Yes, we have a DVD player. Well, we have a Blu-ray player, but
It'll
actually
work.
it's an Xbox that plays.
What's your
Blu-rays.
library system?
Tulsa County.
Tulsa
It's
County.
TCCL, Tulsa County City Library or something. City County Library. I don't know.
Tulsa Library.
Here we go.
TulsaLibrary.org.
Tulsa, I found it.
City County.
Tulsa City County Library. Got my card right here on my desk.
All right. I like it. I'm searching. All copies are in use. That's how popular it is.
Wow. Or they don't have any.
There are 2 copies of it in the system.
Okay.
Oh, your library uses the same interface that my library uses. Here's a review.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Slapstick comedy.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh, these people hated this movie. Half star. I thought I had picked the theatrical version and not the unrated version.
Oh, whoops.
Another half star. Watched a little, but really didn't care for it so much. I turned it off. These people are dumb. Are there any 5-star reviews of this movie? Sorry. Here's one. I have to say, I did not expect this film to be as good as it was. Another great addition to the buddy cop genre, as well as a satire of it. The film has huge laughs and good action sequences. Farrell and Wahlberg have great chemistry, and the film made me laugh continuously. I also liked how well done the action sequences were for the kind of film it was, and I really, really enjoyed it. 10 out of 10. That's from Captain Jackster. Anyway, so the way that Frodo's like, oh, we didn't say goodbye to Goldberry is a lot like Mark Wahlberg's desire to connect with Ava Mendes. And yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Okay.
I probably will need to watch this movie tonight. It's one of the best movies. It's so good.
Will you live tweet it?
I don't have Twitter anymore. I'm on Threads. And
will you live thread it?
No.
Why not?
Well, I don't think my 43 followers would really care.
That maybe. But there was one time you were watching The Lord of the Rings and you like live Facebooked it. And there are just I remember this because I shared one of your statuses and like it came up in my memories a little while ago. But I was like, this is my brother, the nerdiest. Like, he's so happy. Like, all this. Like, what a dork.
I would imagine I did that. Yeah. I'm not surprised if I did it.
No.
I just don't remember it because I'm eldest.
You're middle.
I'm old. I've been here before the films were made.
Well, that's true. Yes. Kind of like when Hendrix drew like the Stussy. It's not actually Stussy, but like the Stussy S. And I was like, Mom, I can teach you how to do these. And I was like, I was there. I was there when this was created.
You don't know, kid, how Daniel Lamb taught me how to do that when I was in the 7th grade.
And with like the jester hat on it, like at the top.
The whole deal.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Gosh. What?
Goodness. Anyway,
so they're saying goodbye to Goldberry.
Really jumping off topic.
It's probably because of all the allergies.
Probably. Anyway, so they paused for lunch and suddenly woke from a nap that they didn't intend to take. And they were shut in a hall of mist whose central pillar was the standing stone that was like, a cool thing that they like sat against beforehand. And now it was like a harbinger of doom. They did their best to get out of this mess, going single file to avoid getting lost or separated. And that didn't work. And they got separated. And Frodo got taken by a tall, dark figure whose icy grip froze his bones. And he remembered no more. He had been taken by a barrow wight. He saw that he came to and saw that Sam, Pippin, and Merry were lying beside him, pale, dressed in white, with accoutrement all over them, and a sword across their necks. Ooh. And there was some sort of incantation, and an arm was reaching towards Sam, and Frodo was like, no, and grabbed the sword to attack, and it hit the arm, or he hit the arm, cut off the hand, and then like the sword shattered. And Frodo remembered Tom's song and started singing it. And Tom was like, hold it back, yo. And it came and what?
He was exactly like that.
He did. Yeah. Hello back, yo. Tom was there. He banished the white and got them out of the darkness with a load of treasure, and then woke the other hobbits. They didn't have their clothes. They were just in like, you know, white,
they were in like
gowns.
The ancient clothes.
Yes. So Tom told them to run around naked while he went off hunting. And so they did. And just enjoyed frolicking in the green grass with no clothing. And then Tom came back. He brought back their ponies and Fatty Lumpkin, who is Tom's horse, who the ponies got to know. And so like when they got spooked, they sniffed out Fatty Lumpkin, and they were like, hey buddy, help us out. And so
that's a pretty funny sentence you just said. They sniffed out Fatty Lumpkin.
sounds like the junior high bus.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Anyway,
bus driver Lee telling us how terrible we are.
But yeah, he brought back their ponies. They were able to get some spare clothes out of their packs. And then Tom realized the hobbits still like kind of needed him. So he rode with them to make sure they got on their way safely. And he also, well, before that, he like grabbed some daggers from the treasure heap that he like brought up with him from rescuing them, and gave them each daggers. And they rode on and eventually got back to the road. And this is where Tom's like, okay, guys, you're good now. Gives them some advice. You know, 4 miles on the road, you'll come to under Bree Hill. And that's where they'll find the Snuggly Duckling and, or the Prancing Pony, whatever. I like Snuggly Duckling better. Frodo reminds everyone not to use the name Baggins and not to get too comfy at the end, which is foreshadowing, because they do to both.
Yeah.
Sorry, I ruined chapter 9.
I don't think you ruined it.
Close.
No, there's a lot going on in chapter 9, so it's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Good summary, Heather.
Thanks.
I'm trying to be more encouraging.
Well, you know, it's about dang time, because I went through most of my childhood not encouraged by you, but just kidding. You've also always. Oh my gosh. I hate you so hard sometimes. You're such a brat.
I have some friends who watch this. They're like, we don't care really about the story. We just like how you and Heather interact. It's like, oh, okay, good. Because we don't spend that much time on the story.
We really don't.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
In this chapter, Heather, you did a great job summarizing.
Thank you. Because I told you beforehand that like I felt like these 2 chapters were difficult, like difficult to get through. And so I don't know why. Like they're not hard to read through. They're not hard stuff.
No.
But like
the chapters leaving from the Shire to the Prancing Pony are, I think, the least necessary chapters in this whole book.
Thank you. Okay. Fantastic. Which is why so much of it is cut out of the movie, right? Or not in the movie. It's not
actually moving the story of the ring forward.
Right.
It's more just giving us a picture of the world.
Okay.
So getting through these chapters is, I think, the hardest part of this book. And then when they're in Lorien later. When they're...
Oh.
Because it's like a major thing happens, and then it's like, hey, let's slow everything down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I find that to be a difficult chapter. So in this chapter though, there's a couple cool things if you're looking for the world, like learning a little bit about the Barrow Downs and what's happening there.
Yeah.
Like, these are like monuments and watchtowers that were built by ancient kings of Westerness. And like, it's like, well, what is Westerness? What is this? And like, these are ancient human kings who were very influential and very important. And they fought against the evil one, but they lost. And so there is a curse on these spaces. And so that's why Tom was like, avoid them. Right. And so there's like outposts of like evilness all over and darkness all over that Frodo and the gang, which is actually the name of my metal band. Frodo and the gang.
As soon as you said it, I was like, he is going to like pull this in somehow.
Yeah, our sophomore album, Fog on the Barrow Downs.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, this would be a great. If I had the time and the skill to create a band called Frodo and the Gang and just did metal songs from about Lord of the Rings, I think I would retire everything and just do that full time. I
mean, Jason.
Anyway, maybe someday.
When is your next sabbatical? Because that's what you should.
2 years. That's the project. I have to write a report like, hey, what are you going to be doing while you're on sabbatical? Okay.
Well, let me tell you about this.
I've been thinking about it for 2 years. It's called Frodo and the Gang. And yes, I'm too tall to be a hobbit, but the sets are going to be huge.
Gigantic.
Anyway. So anyway, we get this picture of this world that Frodo really doesn't know anything about. Mm-hmm. And like, that's, I think, why these chapters are important.
Okay.
Why they matter and why Tolkien has them here at all is because Frodo is leaving the world of comfort to the world of danger. Mm-hmm. And like, Sam is like, I'd like to go meet the elves. Yeah, this would be great. I'm with you. And the other Merry and Pippin are like, we're family. We're your friends. We're not going to let you do this on your own. But even they didn't have a big picture of the world. Merry has like, yeah, some of our folks leave here and go. And if they weren't being chased by the Dark Riders, they probably would have stayed on the road. But because they couldn't stay on the road, they had all of this adventure.
Yeah.
You know, and so, yeah, so it's important to see like the world is much more complicated than you think. And so, yeah, so it's not just a simple fairy tale. It's more than that. But then we learn about Tom as he's talking to them. Is this Tom or Mary? The men of Carn Doom came on us at night.
That was Mary.
And we were worsted. The spear in my heart. Like he felt like this pain, like that he was actually stabbed, but he wasn't.
But it was all in his head.
It was all like a spiritual,
like that Nelly and Tim McGraw song.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay.
All in my head. Think about it over and over again.
No. We just have very different worlds that we live in.
It is such an old song.
Yeah, I live in the present. Okay. Don't play it.
I'm not going to, but I will send you a link to it. So later you can.
I'm really excited about that.
Okay,
yeah. Anyway, and then when Tom explains to them, like, their swords, like these were made by the men of Westerness. They were foes of the Dark Lord, but they were overcome by the evil king of Carn Doom in the land of Angmar. And one of the Nazgul is the Witch King of Angmar.
Okay.
The king of Carn Doom in the land of Angmar. He was given one of the 9 rings of power by Sauron. So like this stuff is important, and it's details that like Tolkien's not going to explain to us until you like read it over again and you're like, oh, Angmar, you know, it's kind of like reading the Bible.
I feel like I really relate to this line. The hobbits did not understand his words. So that's where I'm at. Okay.
Anyway, I mean, this is why like it gets better with rereads.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's such a big world. And then they're like, well, where else can I learn about this stuff? The Silmarillion. And the history of Middle Earth.
Brother Jason.
There's so much stuff.
Amazing.
So, and yeah, I do think Sam is like, they're heading over to the,
Snuggly Duckling.
Bree. And Sam's like, I'm sorry to take leave of Master Bombadil. He's a caution and no mistake.
I'm sorry.
Are you finished?
Yes.
God bless you.
Thank you.
I'll say it again. I'm sorry.
I will not say it again.
No, I'm saying I'll say what I was saying again.
Oh, I thought you said you will not bless me again.
I mean, I feel like they're pretty
4 is enough.
I feel like it's pretty wasteful the first time. Like,
sorry, continue.
Anyway, I'm sorry to take leave of Master Bombadil, said Sam. He's a caution and no mistake. I reckon we may go on a good deal further and see not better nor queerer. And I think like his recognition that Tom is so unique and he is so purely good.
Yeah.
But also very weird.
But like, whoa.
Like there is like, what just
something's
happened?
Going on with this guy.
These past 4 days have been bananas.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I think those are fun little chapters that we just went through.
So but like Tom says Tom's country ends here. He will not pass the borders. Tom has his house in mine and Goldberry is waiting. So like he's just master of that chunk of Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Or
he doesn't. This is another one of the things that sets Tom apart. Unlike the men of Middle Earth, like the Witch King of Angmar, or Sauron, who only wants to dominate.
Yeah.
Tom is content.
Oh.
And that may be one of the reasons why the ring has no power over him. He's content. And so, And
like Boromir is not content.
Nobody has met Boromir if they're not reading this yet.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, Boromir.
About those giraffes.
Boromir is an example of the weakness of men.
Okay.
Aragorn, Strider, who we'll meet in a couple chapters, is.
No, you meet him don't you meet him this next chapter?
Chapter 10 is called Strider.
So I know, but like.
He might end up in 9, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Aragorn is going to be an example of the possibility of men.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Sorry for
both
bringing up somebody that isn't here yet.
It's fine. Both will be tempted by the ring.
Yeah.
And, they're going to have to deal with that. So every person in this story who interacts with the ring, you learn about their
metal.
Yeah, METTLE. Not METAL.
Or MEDAL.
Right.
That's also different.
Yeah, but that's also not metal. That's metal.
Bronze, silver, gold.
Speaking of, the Olympics are coming.
I know. I'm so excited. Anyway, sorry.
And I just think these chapters just show us a big world and that not everybody is affected by the ring in the same way.
Right.
And I think that's important.
Okay.
Could he have said it faster?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I can't go any further.
No, I'm saying Tolkien.
Oh, Tolkien.
Could he have?
Yes.
Could he have cut some of these songs? Yeah.
Yeah. A majority of them, please. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Jason, for continuing to walk me through Middle Earth and explaining things that don't make sense or
That's what I do.
Are maybe just a little like seem excessive. So so yeah, I think our next chunk should probably cover
9 and 10.
Do we want to do 9 and 10, or does Strider deserve a chapter on his own?
No, I'll just do 9 and 10. Let's do both. Let's keep this, because then we can hit 11 and 12.
A knife in the dark.
And then we can do 1 and 2 of book 2. I think the 2 chapter thing, I don't know. I feel like it's a good...
Do you see how much that is?
What is that? Which chapter?
Chapters 11 and 12. It's like, well, I guess it's only 40-ish pages, 43, but it's fine.
Okie doke.
It's fine. I'll just need to make sure I type those notes because that's going to take a lot of writing instead. So
you could voice memo it.
I don't like that. I like to write it.
I have somebody in my life who voice to texts everything.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Even when other people are around.
Oh.
Like at dinner, this person just takes out their phone and starts talking into it. And that's worse than hearing,
you're not a fan.
That's worse than hearing somebody else just talk on the phone and you're only hearing one side of the conversation.
You think so?
Yeah, it's way worse.
Oh, okay.
Because it's now saying like, oh, people that I'm at dinner with, you're not as important as what I'm about to do.
Is it Joss?
Yeah.
Is it Jossie?
And then like they have to say all the punctuation.
Yeah.
And all the stuff. It's just like, this is annoying. Why are you?
So like,
just text it out.
Maggie, period.
Period. Like, with a T.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Like it just text it. Just use your thumbs and type it out.
Well, but sometimes like your thumbs are tired or like your eyes hurt. And so you can't see the screen very well.
Yeah. Sometimes you make excuses for people's weaknesses.
Well,
Boromir is an example of
Amazing.
Yeah, I just think that is something that it's a lot like social media, where they told us that we can do this, but they didn't say whether or not we should do it. Like what? Should we be on Facebook all the time? Should we be telling everybody all of our life? Should we be speech to text at dinner? All the same. No.
Wow. I'd never looked at it that way. And my eyes have been opened.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jason.
I'm here to help.
I learn so much every time we talk.
I know.
Yeah. Because you're a doctor and I am not. So,
it's amazing that we're even talking.
I know. My credentials definitely do not match up. And you have so much more going on in your world than I could even dream or imagine. And so I really appreciate you taking the time to come down to my level.
Yeah. It's what I do.
It's what I do.
I'm just trying to follow the example of Jesus. And when there are, one of the ways that people talk about the incarnation is they say Jesus condescended to humanity.
Oh, okay.
And so that's how I feel about all of our conversations.
Wow. Knew where that was going.
I'm condescending to you.
Yeah, you are.
So
that's accurate. All right. Well, Jason, good morning.
Good morning.